Hello again, friends. New City here. Alright. We're getting ready for the nightly flight. We're going to be from Washington, Iowa to Iowa City. Then we're going to route on up to Cedar Rapids. Let's go ahead and get our lights turned on. Oh, before anything, I need to turn on my flight stick, don't I? There we go. Connected. Let's get the lights on. Can't get the lights on without any power, can we? Let's turn the well, make sure we have things going. Might as well get ready to start the plane up, shall we? Mixture. Full throttle. Give it a little bit of throttle. Alternator and battery. That'll allow us to use our lights. Turn on our beacon, wing, nav. Well, let's get this beast up and going. The time in local time is 1:47 a.m. We're gonna reset our view. Fantastic. Let's see here. First and foremost, we need to turn our transponder on. With our transponder on, we can now contact ATC and get the ATIS. Let's get the ATIS. That is the forecast, tuned to automated weather. Hello?
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf Automated Weather Observation. 07000 Zulu. Wind 221 at 7. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2C. Dew point 0C. Altimeter 2986.
We need to adjust to that.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf Automated Weather Observation. 0700 Zulu. Wind 221 at 7.
Let's go ahead and tune off so they're not barking in our ear. Take a look at what they said. Wind coming out of 221 at 7 knots. That means it's blowing into the north. We're going to want to take off into it, which means we're going to want a runway close to 226. To 22 anyways. It's a rough one. Suppose it's gonna have to be runway 18. We were doing circuits around runway 18 earlier. Well, the time is now 1:59. We would go ahead and tell these people to clear away so we can get our journey going. We're going to announce our taxi. We picked out runway 18. Let's go ahead and set our destination just so the game knows what our plan is. Of course, we'll from KAWG, this is going to be our flight plan. We're going to depart from KAWG. KCID is going to be our destination. That's the Eastern Iowa Airport. This is going to be our arrival. However, we're going to fly on up to and past Iowa City. And then we're going to return home. That is our plan for the night. Let's go ahead and zoom on in. Point Amone, Point Dorpy, Point Whitrock, Point Ganad. We're just going to ignore all of that and fly straight on up. We're doing a VFR flight tonight, and we're pretty much going to be using our eyes, even though it's nighttime. Again, we'll take a look at what they squawked on the ATIS. That's looking good there. Exit cursor mode. Pop that ATC back up again. What did they say? Visibility 10. So yeah, it's a beautiful clear day. The temperature is 2°C, so it is above freezing. Dew point is at 0. Fantastic. So it's not too worried about fog. It's not going to be froggy. Alright, well, without much further ado,
Kilo
get things
Alpha
going.
Whiskey Golf traffic. Snip Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner is taxiing to runway 18. Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf.
We can go ahead, while we taxi, we actually do not need full mixture. Let's go ahead and remove the parking brake. Throttle reel back. Before we take off, we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a degree of trim. 1 degree of trim, that is. We don't need flaps, but we do need trim. We do need trim. Reset our view. Our taxi lights are on. Our landing lights are taxi lights. Let's go. We have permission to go. We're going to avoid this person on the left. Avoid this machine here on the left as well. Pardon me, all. Please step back if you have the courtesy. Give it a little bit more throttle. Sometimes it's really you really gotta jive it with the throttle. There we go. Pardon me, y'all. Watch out for that crazy man in the van over to our left. He's really out for blood, it would appear. No matter. So, we remember from earlier, runway 18 is located here to the left. There we go. We'll peek on over here. When you take turns, you don't want to go more than 5 knots per hour. Hey, Aircraft Action 1 asks, can I fly with you? I would love to go on a flight sometime, brother. Unfortunately, not online right now. But we do flights most nights. Washington, Iowa to Iowa City, Cedar Rapids. I'm going to be getting online here the next day or two. So yeah, man, would absolutely love it. I play on the... I think it's the Eastern server. I play real time. On a future stream, once I get online going, I'll go ahead and show the online settings, and then we'll get it going. Yeah, man, that would be fantastic. But oh yeah, so we're actually not going to be taking off this way. We're on runway 8. Hey, Aircraft Action says, easy, I can boost your channel. I've been enjoying your video. Well, thank you very much, my friend. Yep, not the greatest flights, but I enjoy them for nighttime ASMR. Come and take a flight on Snoot Airlines. Take a nap, and by the time you wake up, we'll be at the destination. Comfy. I used to enjoy taking flights as a young kid, looking out the windows, and I'd take naps. That's what I would do. I would also talk my passengers' ears off. Shoutouts to everyone who sat next to me on an airline flight when I was an annoying 7-year-old kid. Slow things down here just a little. We don't need to taxi so fast. We do need to take a look at that there windsock. What direction is it pointing? It's very important you take off into the wind. Fantastic. Yep, so runway 18 is definitely going to be our best bet. Back to the center line here. We had a mishap with the lights earlier, running circuits. Let's hope we do not have that same issue. Alright, time to reel the throttle back. We're going to be doing a big U-turn here. Let's turn our landing lights on just so we have a little more light to work with. Lovely, not all runways have this little area. And in fact, it might not be for us. It looked like there are some ILS lights to our right. No matter, as long as we can avoid... Yeah, there it is. Oh, wow. Aircraft Action 1 says he's a Cessna 172 pilot in real life, so he has some experience. I'm sure you could tell we're in the 152 right now. Absolutely amazing, man. Shout outs and my respect to anyone who has their PPL. That takes a lot of work and study. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I don't have the same ambitions, but as it stands right now, I'm far from it. And if you stay watching, I'm sure you'll see why. I should not be flying any planes. But yeah, I love the Cessnas. Beautiful aircraft. And the 172, wow, what a beast. Well, let's make sure everything is good to go before we take off. Reset our view here. 1 degree of trim, no flaps. We're not going to have any anti-ice to worry about. Yeah, it's looking good. Let's contact the tower. Get permission to get on out of here. We actually don't need permission because this is a non-towered airport. This is going to be a northern departure. Our destination is to the north.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf traffic. Snute Sierra Alpha Lima 9
Aircraft Action says, cheers, my friend. I would strongly suggest you get into some flight lessons at a local school for an experience and continue as you wish. That's for sure. I live in Washington, Iowa, so I've heard that there's schooling in the Quad Cities. That, I believe, is the best bet, and yeah, here's hoping. I'll go ahead and subscribe to you, so we'll get a in-game flight going sometime. Again, would love to have a flight going. But yeah, with that out of the way, we are cleared for takeoff. Let's go ahead and throttle on up. We need to raise that mixture as well. Full mixture. Drop the parking brake. Aircraft Action 1 says, sounds good. Alright, let's get full throttle. It says for takeoff you want full throttle. Keep those rudders so we can maintain the center line. Rotation is at 55 knots. So there it is. We'll slowly tip our nose up. There we go. We don't need to stay on the ground so far, just to build a bit of speed here. Alright, let's let our trim do the work. We're going to add some trim. We don't want to go above that 20 degrees there. But we do want to build some altitude. Definitely, we're already battling the wind, so let's turn into it. We need to climb 1,500 feet and then we can begin our northern departure. Pop open the EFB just to see what we're working with. Fantastic, we are on a perfect heading between north and 30 degrees. adjust the trim, build a little bit more altitude. I want to wheel off the throttle soon. There we go. Tonight we're going to be cruising at an altitude of about 2,000 feet. Continue climbing. Flaps are up. Trim could be a little bit higher. It's time to start slowing things down. 70% is about a good measure of where you want to be sitting. We're going to be using our RPMs there. It's about 2,400 there. There we are, 2,000 feet. Hey, Aircraft Action 1 says he shouted you on my channel page. Thank you so much, Aircraft Action 1. Make sure all my viewers like and subscribe Aircraft Action 1 as well. It's a community. We're all in it. Yeah, fantastic. Let's take a look at the world here. We want to level out. We're sitting at 2,000 feet. We don't want to go above 3,000, that's for sure. But we do need to take a look at the world because we're flying VFR tonight. Behind us is the town of Washington, Iowa. You can see to our left is the town of Kelowna. I'm not sure how good the quality is on the other side of the stream, but way out in the distance we can actually see the Iowa City Municipal Airport beacon blinking in the distance. If we'll nose down here a little bit, drop that trim of course to nose down, we can see Highland School here off to our right, the town of Riverside ahead of us to our left. Hey, Aircraft Action 1 says, "May have a good one. I have some editing to do. See you around. See you around too, my friend. After this video, get this like and subscribe in. Thanks for watching, brother. My respect. Cheers." So we'll dip that trim down. We want to get this thing nice and level. The wind is kind of buffeting us out. As you can tell, our vertical speed's going up and down. We're really porpoising here. Nice and level, there we go. So we are setting a little higher than I'd like. But, as you can tell, I have no hands on the yoke right now. We don't have hardly any yaw at all. This is a fantastic flight, even though my nose doesn't want to go where I want to point it. As I say that, I'm slightly drifting to the left. We are going to need to compensate for that. But all in all, this highway to our right is going to be the highway that we're going to follow all the way up to Cedar Rapids. Let's glance over the HUD here. I'm going to go ahead and point some things out. There is Highland School. I use that as a destination. That's about 10 miles out from Washington. That there's the Riverside Casino. That means if you follow this, here's the town of Riverside. And Iowa Junction. They're basically the same town. Riverside is here and Iowa Junction is there. That means to the left, we are going to need to adjust our heading here just a little bit. That's the beautiful town, the previous capital of Iowa, Iowa City, right up there. As we approach, we're going to go ahead and get on the horn with air traffic control. Let's get a flight following first and foremost.
Approach. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9ers type Cessna 152 for miles southeast of 8 India Alpha 8, 2400. Request flight following.
We're gonna wheel off a little bit of trim.
Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. Approach. Squawk 0537.
0537, Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
Squawk 0537. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
That's what I said.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
Alright, let's match altimeters. 2987. I'm not sure if that's what we have.
Altimeter 2987.
Close enough, but close enough. Let's go ahead and read that back. Roger.
Roger. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
Alright, drop a point of trim because we're starting to run away with the altitude again. I even want to pull back on the throttle just a little bit. No reason not to. Flaps are up. Let's look at the wings just to be sure we're not dealing with any icing. It's not freezing, so we shouldn't be dealing with icing, but you can never be too sure. Nice, things are going good. We're feeling rather comfortable now. Let's get back on the horn with the ATC. Pull back on the yoke. We're starting to drop down a little faster than I'd like. We still have about 300 feet to give up, but hey, King says, too bad it's dark. It'd be cool to try and see the stadium. That's for sure. I don't know if we ever have flown by Kinnick. Here in the future, we'll go ahead and plan a daytime flight. Rare for the Snoot to do the daytime flights, but we were actually doing a little bit earlier today in the day. Thanks for watching, King. Shout out to the King. We are currently on the way to Iowa City, and then we're routing up to Cedar Rapids for the night. And then we'll be returning home, Washington, Iowa. The weather's looking fantastic. A little bit cloudy, but we're not too worried about clouds. Let's bring up the nearest airport list. Iowa City Municipal is going to be our destination. Hey, Cheerjeet the car is back. He says hi. Hello again, friend. Thanks for tuning back in. Always good to see repeat viewers. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the weather at Iowa City.
Kilo India Oscar Whiskey, automated weather observation, 0800 Zulu, wind 161 at tree, visibility 10, sky condition, clear, temperature 1C, dew point -2.
Fantastic. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start to build some altitude because we're not going to land here at Iowa City. If we're trying to build altitude, that means we need to, most importantly, give it a little bit of throttle. The Cessna 152 needs full throttle if you want to properly gain altitude. Let's adjust the trim up 3 or 4 points. My goal is to hit an altitude of about 4,000 feet by the time we hit this airport. Mixture is full, throttles are full. Let's find the wind direction and turn into it. That way we can climb more efficiently. Shira G asks, how many planes do we have? I only have base Microsoft Flight Sim. I don't even have any of the aviator packs or any of that. PlayStation 5 does not have a very good assortment of planes yet. I do believe they are about to drop some soon. But yeah, the game actually just came out for PlayStation in December. So all the developers, they gotta, they gotta go back and make all the content again. And Sony doesn't like to work with modders and people like that. So I don't believe there is any modding. All right, we're at 3,000 feet. We need to wheel off a little bit of this mixture. At 3,000 feet, you don't want to be feeding in pure mixture anymore. It's just not efficient for the engine. But yeah, Sony doesn't really want mods in the game, unfortunately. So we gotta wait for all the official developers, like Got Friends or Asolo. I mean, I'm down with waiting. I'm down with purchasing the official packs. I'm just happy to get to play the game on PlayStation personally. So let's keep climbing. Again, we want to hit 4,000 feet in altitude before we hit that there airport. If you look over our nose, you can see Iowa City. But if you look even further into the distance, you can see Cedar Rapids, which is our destination. Tier G asks, do you play Turboprop Flight Simulator? I do not. I only play Microsoft Flight Sim. I am open to other games, though. Especially if it's on PS5. Alright, let's drop a couple points of trim. If you'll look, we're starting to gain altitude a little bit too fast. 4,000 feet is what we want to level out with. Yep, I actually do not have too much experience with sim games, honestly. I played a little bit of like Gran Turismo, which got me into cars and racing. I don't even drive a car in real life. But yeah, Flight Sim is super fun. I adore it. It's a great game. We need to drop some trim now. We're starting to really climb. We need to wheel off even more of this mixture and trim down. We're also going to pull back on the throttle because we have cruise altitude achieved. And now we're going to get on the horn and announce overflying airport. Let's go.
Kilo India Oscar Whiskey traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. For miles southeast, overflying the airport from southeast to northwest at 4100, Kilo India Oscar Whiskey.
Said we were 4 miles southeast. That means we need to adjust to the north. You can see it just there out of our left. That is Iowa City Municipal. So if we're going to head to Cedar Rapids, we need to adjust our heading to the north. Very slowly losing altitude. Let's give ourselves a degree of trim. As you can see, the trim takes a couple seconds to really work its magic. One more degree of trim and we should be nice and leveled out is what I'm thinking. What we're doing is giving ourselves just a little bit here left yoke. Pair that with the smallest degree rudders. And if you look, there's our destination. Eastern Iowa Airport. We're going to go ahead and bring up our air traffic control menu. Back. We're going to have to do a little bit of scrolling here, unfortunately. Airports farther away. The Eastern Iowa Airport. Tune to the ATIS exit cursor mode first off. Tune to the ATIS. we sit at 4,000 feet.
Mike, 0800 Zulu. Wind 211 at Niner. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2. Dew point -1.
2982.
ILS runway 27 in use. Landing and departing runway 27. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Mike.
Indeed, we do have Mike, and it is quite important that we bring Mike with us. The temperature's above freezing.
Information November 0800 Zulu. Wind 211 at Niner. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2. Dew point -1. Altimeter 2982. ILS runway.
Looks like we're using runway 27. And of course, he says that the wind is coming out of 211? Indeed. So of course we would be using runway 27. Let's take a look, just see what exactly we're in for store here. We are about to enter A-class Charlie airspace where we're going to need to get permission to fly into. Look at that, runway 27 pointed out for us. Runway 27, that's where we're going to want to land. We're going to be flying into base and going on to final. We do need to adjust our heading to the left here, and we actually need to go ahead and contact and get permission to fly into this airspace. Request a full stop landing.
Cedar Rapids Tower. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner is 15 miles southeast. 3700 with November to land.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner, Cedar Rapids Tower. Altimeter 2986. Fly left base, runway 27.
And indeed, we were planning to fly base and come on in. Acknowledge the instructions.
Make left base runway 27. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner.
Alright, doing good. Let's see what is up on COM 2. I think we need to get permission to fly into this space. Pretty sure. I guess we'll worry about that when we enter the space, won't we? We do need to start dropping altitude, so we'll continue on our descent. We're going to go ahead and keep this lateral angle here. They said to approach on base and then proceed to final, so we'll worry about setting up a base approach once we get a little closer. As we slowly drop below 3,000 feet, we need to give ourselves a little bit more mixture. Just a little bit. We are passing Point Morse. Sitting at slightly under 100 knots, we're doing decent. We have a comfortable descent. We have a path of approach set up to the Eastern Iowa Airport at Cedar Rapids. The time appears to be, by the clock, 2:20? 2:20-ish. 2:20, indeed it is 2:20, isn't it? 2:20 on the dot. We're going to continue on this lateral approach. Runway 27 is the runway we're set up for. We should be approaching the Class Charlie airspace. My intentions are very clear. $3,000 feet. We can go ahead and give ourselves even more mixture. Let's drop comfortably below 3,000 feet so we don't have to worry about mixture anymore. They must already know we're coming, so we're not worried about airspace clearance. Who has time for that? Not me, not I. What am I, some kind of law-abiding square? Class Charlie airspace, no thank you. So, now that we're below 3,000 feet, we do need to give ourselves full mixture immediately. We're actually going to give ourselves one more degree of positive trim because we're actually losing altitude just a little too fast. So we need to adjust to a leftward trajectory as we're supposed to approach on base. Zoom on in. Let's zoom in and visualize just so we don't look like a clown. We want to go ahead and approach in a trajectory about yay so. Then we'll turn on in. Looks good. Looks fine. Now we'll look in the world. Lean on over the top. If we're gonna approach on base, we do need to approach in a more leftward approach. Back on off of our view. Back to normal. Alright, let's relax here for a second. We're still doing fine. We're doing good. Easy to stress out when you can see a landing approach, but we're feeling pretty comfortable. It's not too windy. They even gave us the runway to approach on, so we didn't have to run any maths. Our altimeter is set up. We are losing altitude at a comfortable pace. Let's look on out the windows. You can see the beautiful river. Not sure which river. Maybe the Cedar River. Maybe the Iowa River. Again, if we are going to set up a base approach, we do need to be closer to the left. Again, let's switch our view. We're going to lean over the nose here. Slowly, we are losing altitude, which works fantastic for us. We do not want to lose altitude too fast. Iowa City Airport sits in an altitude of about 800, slightly above 800. Iowa City, you actually need to use 900 as your safety gauge instead of 800, because it is slightly above 800. So if you can visualize this airport is the letter X, we want to set up a base approach by approaching this letter X straight on. As we do that, as we get a bit closer, can turn more laterally, turn on in, and hook in. The King asks, is that the graphics in the game, or does the airport actually have flashing lights like that? Indeed, it does. It does have flashing lights. I'm not sure if they're located on the blast pad like that, but I know they do have them. I know they also got the blue lights, too. Iowa City Municipal has the beautiful blue lights, and it is very pleasant to look at.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner.
Alright, we're getting called in. We need to acknowledge the clearance.
Cleared to land runway 27. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner.
The wind's coming out of 211. That means it's going into 3. Alright, it's time to start slowing things down. We are cleared to land. Oh, cool. King actually drives past him. He says, love seeing those blue lights when we drive past them at night. That's amazing. I don't drive, so I don't ever get out to see them. But yeah, here in Washington, Iowa, we don't even got those blue lights, unfortunately. Well, we are currently set up on base. Let's bring up ATC to see if they want to talk with us. They already know we're clear to land, so we don't even need to announce position. Reel back the view, slow things down. We need to pull back on the throttle. We're going to go from base here into final by taking a 10-degree turn. We're going to reel back on that throttle because we need to get under 80 knots here. That way we can deploy our flaps. If you look, those lights on the left should tell you if you're coming in too hot, and it looks like we're actually coming in a little slow. We need to adjust our trim to really carry us on this. We're going to have a good approach. Look at that. That's 2 white lights on the left and 2 red lights on the left. I know that the fidelity on stream is sometimes terrible, so I'm not sure if you can make it out, but looks like 3 white lights on the left. We're coming in too hot. We need to slow things down. We're under 80 knots now. That means we can deploy flaps. We also need to wheeze here to the left. Just get on the line. Again, one last futile call to ATC. They already know we're coming. We don't need to announce. They already know. Give ourselves a little more throttle and a 2nd degree of flaps. Nose up, nose up. Keep that nose up attitude. That's very important. See, we don't want to nose up too far, however. Pull back on the throttle. The lights still say we're good. Those lights on the left, those are your live or die lights. White is a lot better than red, because if they turn red, you're dead. If they turn white, you're just going off into the grass. Alright, we're getting online here. Start pulling back the throttle. We truly are on final approach now. We're gonna pull back even more. This is a bit of a stressful approach. Hands off the yoke. Let the plane do what she wants. We're leveling out. We're dropping altitude at a comfortable speed. We have 2 degrees of flaps deployed. We're going ever so slightly too fast, the lights say, so let's pull back on that throttle. Not enough to stall. Drop 2 points of trim. Okay. Hands off the yoke. Drop 2 points of trim. Alright, we need to rudder left. Here we are on final approach. Nose down by dropping some more trim. Nose down, cut the throttle. Coming in very fast here. We also need to wheeze to the left. Wheeze off to the left. Cut the throttle even more, even more, even more. Okay, tilt that nose up. We're going to need to bleed off some of the speed because we're coming in pretty fast. 55 knots is rotation speed. Get here to the center, get here to the center. There we go, nice and slow, nice and slow.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er, Tree 9er. Turn next taxiway.
Yes, sir. Where is the next taxiway? We didn't have our landing lights on. We do have our taxi lights on. We flew with them on the entire way. Let's lift those flaps. We don't need them. Oh, you see that yellow sign? That's going to signal our taxiway. What taxiway is it? Alpha.
Snoot Sierra Alpha
Looks like.
Lima 9er, Tree 9er. Exit runway when able.
Oh my goodness. He's starting to psych me out.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er, Tree 9er. Contact ground on 121.6.
Yes, sir. We need to confirm that.
121.6. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
We also need to announce clear of runway. Alright. What is clear of runway? Well, I suppose I already know. Let's taxi to parking.
Cedar Rapids ground. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. Request taxi to parking.
It's going to be a
Snoot
simple
Sierra
taxi.
Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. Taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha 6.
Yes, Alpha 6. We can make that happen.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha 6. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
Alpha 6, there it is. Taxi to general aviation area. That's going to be all the way to the right. To the left here is the hangars and the service. To the right is the greater municipal airport. So, slow down, slower than 5 knots. Get on the line here. When you take these turns, you need to stay on the yellow line. And you need to not go more than 5 knots. But when you get on a straightaway, you need to be like a drag racer. Let it loose. I'm just kidding. You want to keep it under 30 knots, or the FAA is going to come after you. We don't care about any of that because we don't have a pilot's license for them to take. Slow things down here. We're really needing to wheeze on this rudder. Let's pop open the EFB. See what we're looking at. Oh, we're about to cross a runway. Look to the left. Look to the right. Nope, nothing. We're good. Okay, that's 2 more lanes, and we're going to hook to the left. There's Alpha 7. Oh, goodness gracious, what's happening? Ooh. Tragedy on the runway. My brother, they've cleared us for Alpha 6. What are you doing driving that van? Fortunately, we all made it. Someone at ATC is gonna get chewed out. That is just the truth of the matter. You can't have a van on an active taxiway. There we are. Alpha 8. Oh, goodness. we actually screwed up quite seriously. We were cleared for Alpha 6. This is Alpha 8. Well, I suppose we can all just not talk about it, right? Go ahead and go back to Alpha 6. Of course, this is the gate for the large planes. Sometimes I forget I'm not piloting a giant Airbus A340-20. This little Cessna feels mighty big under my hands sometimes. A6 is going to be that perpendicular one at a 45-degree angle. Listen to her purr. We're actually going to give it just a little more throttle, speed things up. Alpha 7, where is it? Slow it on down. Bring it on in. There's our guy. We almost missed him. We're actually going to make him come to... Well, we should make him come to us. We're actually going to navigate a minefield here. Up, up, up. Yes, sir. Oh, goodness, we're going off. Again, hook around to the left. Hook around, up. We're so smooth with it, just like butter. Just like butter. Let's hook past the gas station here. We're gonna set up for our takeoff. Of course, it's not gonna be an immediate takeoff. We're gonna pull right on up. There's our guy, there's our fellow. There's our man, that's where we should be. This is where we are in reality. Cut that mixture. Close the fuel pump. We're not worried about it. Turn off all of our lights. Alright, that's the lights. Anti-ice is off. We can go ahead and turn our radio off for now. There it goes. Battery in the alternator. Turn the magnetos off, we're not worried about them. Throttle is cut, mixture is cut. Let's go ahead and let's get the cab light on. We'll get things heated up, huh? We'll do a little bit of anti-icing here. Of course, it's just me, no co-pilot today. Switch off the pitot heating. We're gonna leave the... Yeah, we'll switch off the cab lighting. It's not too incredibly dark out, to be honest. Alright, everybody, grab your bags, grab your things. Feel free to exit the airplane. Head on in to the to the Cedar Rapids, Eastern Iowa Airport. I've actually flown out of here multiple times as a passenger. Beautiful airport. When I went there, they still had arcade games. They had Frogger. I love playing Frogger. we will be returning shortly to Washington, Iowa, so please return to the plane within the next 15 minutes. The time is, just assume this is your local time, we're going to be operating off of this time. The time is currently 2:41 a.m. We're going to be boarding at 3 a.m. So feel free, everybody, exit the plane, head on inside, get all your appetizers in, use the restroom if you gotta. We'll be returning in the next 15 minutes. King says he is excited to head back to his home. And yes, of course, we did have a trip to Kingtown planned shortly. Not tonight, however. We're returning to Washington, Iowa, but soon we will. Shoutouts to the king. Alright, everyone. I will be returning shortly as well. The flight will resume boarding shortly before 3 a.m. It is currently 2:42. So, get your things. We'll be right back. Thanks for viewing. Hello again, friends. Snoot Airlines is now boarding. Well, we're gonna tell our passengers we went ahead and did our check. I just had about a 10-minute break staring at the stars in reality. But we just flew here. The plane was fine. I'm sure it'll be fine for the trip back. Open the fuel valve. Give ourselves some mixture. We need to get the plane warming up. It's cold. There we are. Take a look over here. We'll get this yoke out of the way and hot air entry. Put the hot air and the air flow at 100%. That's cabin heating right there. We're going to go ahead and turn the pitot heating on. Turn our lights on. Beacon, wing, nav, strobe, taxi and landing lights. We're not landing. We are about to taxi, however. I went ahead to the concession stand and I bought me a hot chocolate. So, hopefully everyone else is enjoying their trip to the concession stand. Whenever you visit a new airport, it's important you help support the local economy and pay $50 for a hot chocolate. We're getting nice and comfortable now. This hot chocolate is way too hot to drink. So we're just going to let it rest in our lap here. Have a McDonald's incident about 3,000 feet in the air. Boarding begins at 3 p.m. So anybody who's boarded right now, you're an early bird. This is a special opportunity. Most people don't get to meet a certified PPL captain of Snoot Airlines. I don't have a PPL. So you have also not met a certified one, but you've met me. Thanks for joining tonight, friends. I hope everyone's having a great time. The time is 2:57 a.m. Gonna ingest me some herbal relaxant here to help calm the nerves for the flight. Nobody wants a nervous captain. Fantastic. Isn't that nice? Alright, well, 2:58 a.m. Let's go ahead and open the doors to anybody who wants to board. Of course, when you board, do not walk in front of that airplane. We have the propeller going, so anybody who decides to walk in front of that propeller, bad time. We'll just go ahead and load up on the passenger side. The King says, good old Washington, it's where I grew up. I haven't been back in a minute. Excited for the flight. And indeed, the time is now 3 a.m. Let's board up and head home to Washington. Home for me as well. We're having some issues here. I was born in Washington, Iowa myself, and at a young age I actually moved away and spent many years attempting to come back, so serendipitous to be back home myself. Alright, cheers to that, good brother. Let's get clearance. The time is 2:59. We're opening up boarding to anybody interested. The flight's about to commence. Contact ATC. ground services. Hopefully, the tower's not shut down for the night. It looks like it is. We're gonna have to do this without any clearance, unless we can get them on comms too. The tower is indeed shut down. That's okay. Once we take off, we can go ahead and get a flight following. Well, since we can't get the tower on the line, we can't learn the ATIS, which means we cannot learn what direction the wind blows. Perhaps we could see a windsock. Indeed, the wind blows that way. Looks like it's blowing towards us. We're probably gonna want to take off on runway. What is that, a 6? Runway 9? Well, we're not gonna ask permission. We're just gonna putter on over there. We're gonna go straight, hook a left, get on the big long taxiway and head... Well, we're actually gonna head this way. Let's do it. The time is 3:01. Hopefully everyone's boarded. That's 1 minute to get everyone boarded. I think we're ready to go. Drop ATC, because they ain't gonna do nothing for us. It's nice and warm in here. We go ahead and drop the cabin heat. If we're gonna take off, we don't need anti-ice. We need that off. Anti-ice is off. Let's see if our pitot heat is on or off. Off. Turn that off. Trim. 4.7. We do not want that much trim. 1 degree is all we need. There we go. Cedar Rapids Airport is shut down for the night, so we're going to be taking off surreptitiously. Oops. Let's go. We're releasing the brake and beginning our taxi. Slow things down. Turn on our landing lights. We want as much visual information as we can get. Here we go. We're going to get onto the yellow line. Peek on over our nose here. There's a worker here. Hopefully this is not a policeman. Oh god, he's coming towards us. My brother. Had an Austin Powers moment there. No matter. Nobody was there to see it. It's just you and I here. We're gonna hook on over to the left and follow the yellow line. Again, we're looking for a windsock just to confirm. Oh, slow things down. We're really going a bit fast here. We're ruddering to the left, which means we need to yoke to the right. That way we don't get blown astray, asunder. Are there any windsocks nearby? We're looking for a stinky pair of windsocks. Hello. We don't see any. We're just gonna have to trust. We're gonna have to trust. We're gonna go one more block down, all the way to the blast pad. You can see those red lights. That's where we're gonna make our turn at. Washington, Iowa is a southern departure. We're gonna pick up a flight following once we're in the air, because currently the tower is shut down. Most likely we're going to contact Chicago Center. Here we go. This is the end of the taxiway. We are finally preparing at 3:04. Slow things down. Really need to slow things down here. Let's not fly into the ILS sign. The ILS is a very sophisticated system used to send, I believe, radio beams or radar signals to an airplane to let you know where the runway is in inclement weather. This is the whole short point. We would stop here and get clearance, but since we are not taking off legally, and this airport is actually currently shut down, we're just going to take off in the dead of night. Back up our view. Our flaps are up. Our trim is set. Let's line things up. Beauty, ain't it? A thing of symmetry. Hit that parking brake. Is the hot cocoa cold enough for a sip? No way in hell. No way in hell. 3:05. Let's get this beast off the ground. Take a peek at the EFB. We're heading from KCID, the Eastern Iowa Airport. Add to flight plan as departure to KAWG, the Eastern Iowa Airport. There we go. This is our home airport. We'll worry about which runway we're going to run to once we get closer. This is our arrival. And there's our flight plan, set up nice and comfortable. Let's do it. We're ready to take off. Everybody, fasten your seatbelts. The no smoking sign is off, as it always is, because I'm smoking. And then we're taking off. Of course, not smoking. It's dryer, vaping. Smoking is a savage practice. Let's reset our view. Here we go. Mixture's good. Trim is good. Lean off of that parking brake. And throttle up. Rotation occurs at 55 knots, so we need to stay in the center until we hit 55 knots. Keep the wings parallel here. Okay, time to nose up. We're at 60 knots. There we go. By staying nice and low to the ground, we can build up speed. It's called the ground effect.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner. You are not cleared to take off.
You are very correct. We did not get clearance because this tower was shut down.
Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner. ATC services terminated.
Alright, so they terminated their service, and now we can get to the real service. Let's request a transition to the Class Charlie airspace.
Approach. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner is type Cessna 152. 1 miles west of Cedar Rapids, 1300. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
1,500 feet means we can start going towards a southern departure.
Niner Tree Niner. Approach. Squawk 2652.
2652, Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner.
Squawk 2652. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner. Radar contact 1 miles west of Cedar Rapids, 1700. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
Let's confirm that. Roger.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner.
Above 2,000 feet, we can slow things down. So our trip back to Iowa City is going to be a VFR flight using visual flight rules. I'm not sure the accuracy of this, but if you'll look, you can actually see our destination beacon blinking in the distance. That should be the Washington, Iowa airport that is our destination. To our left is Iowa City. And yeah, we're just going to maintain this heading, keeping our eye on the plane. It looks like we are drifting ever so slightly to the left. And our turn coordinator appears to agree with that. Indeed, we are just a little bit off kilter, but it's okay. We're doing okay. We do need to turn our transponder back on. That's an embarrassing one. Transponder is set to alt. We need to set it to on.
Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. Reset transponder. Squawk 2652.
2652 Sierra Alpha Lima or 9er Tree 9er. Two 652. Look at that. We are set to squawk 2652. 2652. Fantastic. We do need to adjust to a more southerly disposition. We also need to drop about just 1 point of trim. Let's level things out in a southern heading. Bring up ATC. Well, what do we have to say to them today?
Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. You're leaving my airspace. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200. Frequency change approved.
1200 Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima or 9er Tree 9er.
Squawk 1200. Frequency change approved. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
Drop 1 point of trim. We're starting to gain altitude. We don't want to do that. We don't want to lose or gain. We want to stay nice and level here. So that blinking beacon likely is actually not our destination. To the left up here is Iowa City. As we approach Iowa City, we're going to want to locate the interstate, which we're going to follow. The interstate should be that line straight ahead of us, and Washington, Iowa is actually located to the right of the interstate. So, drop 1 more point of trim. King asks, I imagine little old Washington does not have ATC at all times, so what do you do when you want to request to land? Well, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an actual pilot, so I don't have the knowledge. What my assumption is pilots will make flight plans, and they will plan to land at airports that are open. So in all reality, I don't believe this flight would be taking place if the airport was not open. However, if there are emergencies, there are greater air traffic controllers like Chicago Center, and they may direct you into a smaller airfield like Washington for an emergency, I believe. I'm not 100% sure though. Don't quote me on that one. We're just some renegade flyers late at night. I know there is protocol for non-towered airfields as well. Because there are airfields that are open but don't have towers as well. So here to the left is Iowa City. we can't see it so terribly well. Indeed, I do not have the knowledge, unfortunately. But someday I might. Who knows? If I can get off my lazy ass and actually study a little bit, maybe I could become a pilot. I do really want to. I think that would be fantastic. Imagine this, up here in real life. It would be terrifying, but would be very fun. So let's bring up our iPad real quick. Be sure that we're on the right path. Indeed we are. It says to the left is Iowa City. And you know what? That blinking beacon actually might be our destination. We're gonna line up with it, and we should be lined up with Washington, Iowa. Runway 18 is what we're set up for right now. Runway 18, that's where we took off from. The crosswinds are really taking us here. You can see that we're getting blown completely a kilter. But that's okay. We're not too worried about it. So we're lined up with the beacon now. Let's see. What say the map about our destination? Yeah, so that beacon I don't believe is our destination. It may be point BIAB or it may be the IOW tower. Washington, Iowa is going to be more on this 2-1 heading. So we'll adjust our heading. And we'll maintain. Below us, I believe that's Edgewood Road, Edgewood Ave. Might be mistaken. One of the main roads that runs through Iowa City. And below us we can see some fields. Let's tune our approach. They said we needed to change. We do need to change. For tuned approach and request a flight following.
Approach. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er is type Cessna 152. 2 miles southwest of India Alpha 9er 2, 2600. Request flight following.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. Approach. Squawk Tree 22 Tree.
Squawk 322 Tree. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
Squawk Tree 22 Tree. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. Radar contact 2 miles south of India Alpha 9er 2, 2500. Altimeter 2982.
What is the altimeter? 2982. We're set. Alright, let's confirm.
Roger. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
Drop 1 or 2 points of trim, probably just 1. We're sitting at about 2,500. Comfortable. To our left is that main highway. We can see the Iowa City Municipal Airport. That means this is the road that runs into Iowa City, the main highway. So, yes indeed, that blinking beacon is our destination. Aircraft malfunction. Squawk 700. We need to get landed now. Set up for the best glide path. Set the trim up, set the trim up. Can we contact ATC? Nearest airport list. Iowa City Municipal. Squawk 700. What runway is this? Oh, can't afford that right now. Adjust the trim, adjust the trim. Yes, indeed, we are having an engine malfunction that we need to worry about right now, we're gonna drop this so we can focus on zooming in. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Alright, that's no help for us. We're just gonna have to call in a runway. It's gonna be runway 30, because that's the heading. It's gonna be a full stop landing. We are on final.
Kilo India Oscar Whiskey traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner is on final, runway tree 0, to land Kilo India Oscar Whiskey.
Squawk. 77. Announce an emergency. Close comms. Reset our cam. Let's lean over. What are we looking at here? Cut the throttle. We have no throttle. Our engine's out. We're gonna drop flaps. We're coming in a little hot, but I think it's gonna be okay. Do we have lights? Can we get lights? Landing lights. Okay, we need to get a little closer to the ground, a little faster. Second degree of flaps. Here we go. We're gonna wanna keep our nose up, keep a good attitude. Glide on in. Nice. We're doing good. Let's see how far we can make it with a dead engine. We do want to get off the runway here as soon as possible. Hopefully we're able to restart the engines on this thing. I really don't want to have to borrow another plane just to get home. Okay. Here we go. We're going to take a right and get off of the runway here. Turn our taxi lights on so we can see what's going on. Turn off our landing lights. Off the runway just a little bit. Let's see, what does ATC have to say to us? Not a lot. Engine malfunction. 6. Do need to announce clear of runway.
Kilo India Oscar Whiskey traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner is clear of the runway. Kilo India Oscar Whiskey.
Let's announce parking.
Kilo India Oscar Whiskey traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner is taxiing to parking. Kilo India Oscar Whiskey.
Alright. Let's take a look at what the culprit could be for this aircraft system malfunction. The anti-ice is off. The hot air is off. Flaps we can go ahead and raise. That's full mixture. Throttle is of course off. Let's adjust the pitch trim down to nothing. Landing lights, taxi lights, beacon lights, strobes. One thing that it could be is in fact ice, so let's turn on the anti-ice right now. Give it just a little bit. See if things get better. Okay, we need to not prime it, that's for sure. We do need to drop our park and brake. Turn off and reset the alternator. Battery stays. Alright, let's turn off the anti-ice. Turn off the pitot heat. Alright, here it goes. Oh, that's a bad sound. fuel valve is open. How much fuel do we have? Let's give it a little bit of throttle. Full mixture, a little bit of throttle. There it is. Iowa City. Let's go ahead and cut everything. They're gonna need a tow. They're gonna need to give us a tow. Cut that. Turn off our lights. Okay, that's all the lights off. Boom. Parking brakes on. We're gonna take this key with us. We're gonna need to hand it off to the guy at the gate. Okay, that's everything off. Everything off. Trim, good. Parking brake set. Alright, everyone get your coats. Let's go. We're gonna see if they have an aircraft for us to make it back home tonight. Alright, we need to be careful. This is an active runway. It's good it is nighttime, but... No, we're just doing a little bit of running. Let's see if I can... There we go. Fortunately, we're not very far from the main office. I know they're not going to be happy at all, but I'm just glad we were able to save that emergency landing. So close to an airport. Again, right next to a major metropolitan area. We could have been in for a very bad and very rough time. Anybody who lives in Iowa City, if you want, you're able to just dip out here, but we are going to be continuing tonight onward to Washington, Iowa, assuming they have a aircraft for us to borrow. I know there's people here because there's cars. Hello? Hello? Looks like they do have a couple aircraft. What is the pick we're looking at? They got some Pipers. It looks like they got a Cessna or two. Alright. Not sure if these are windows or what's going on. I know we could go into that building right there. That's a door. That looks like a hangar. Has to be a door. I'm suspecting this is the door. Hello. Hello. Alright, we are in and out. We're gonna borrow a craft here at Iowa City Municipal while our Cessna is getting repaired. We are going to be borrowing a Piper. Glorious. Let's borrow the Piper. Of course, we need to adjust the tail, because this is not our Piper. We're borrowing this Piper. Just an all-white Piper. Just a regular old plane. There's a little bit of fuel. Its identification is not Charlie Alpha Tango. That is our personal identification. This is a Piper. Alright, we're loaded up in the rental aircraft. We need to be extremely careful with this one. And we're going to be taking off from the ramp. Fly now. This really has put quite the damper on our evening. We could have been approaching Washington, Iowa by now, but we're going to load on up into the Piper. Oh, it's so very dark out here. Might have to reset. I'm a bit frozen with fear, it would appear. Come on now, work with me. We are ready to fly. Let's set up our controls. HOTAS and HOTAS support should be good. The EFB is toggleable. Gonna reset things just one more time. Having a bit of an issue here. Let's pick a different spot and see what happens. Fly now. Fly in the Piper. I wonder if my hot cocoa is still too hot for a sip. Oh, goodness gracious. That is very hot. Oh! What is this witchcraft? Why is my body frozen? Resume. My goodness, am I gonna have to change controls here? Not the best time for a series of glitches. Come on now. There we go. Alright, so we are able to remove the chocks, remove the engine covers. Anybody who has luggage, go ahead and get it loaded up in the baggage door here. We're going to load up luggage. Alright. We're not even going to do the check. They're sending us with this plane, we trust it. The luggage door is shut. We're going to climb on in. They're actually sending us with a co-pilot because it looks like they don't trust us. Hello there, beautiful. Yikes, absolutely. Let's get some lights in here. Very hard to see without lights. Fantastic. What are we working with? The Piper has a propeller as well as mixture, so give it full mixture. Let's give ourselves some lights. That's all our lights. We're going to need to give ourselves a fuel selector. We'll use the left tank. We can see how much fuel we have, about slightly less than 20 gallons, so I'm now very worried. Nav lights on. Fuel pump off. On. Pitot heat is off. Alright. Well, let's give ourselves a wee bit of throttle then. Fuel pump on for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Turn it off. Flip the magnetos. There we go. Drop the yoke. Alright, there goes the cabin lights. While we're taking off, we're going to go ahead and use the red light. Let's look at what is our trim wheel sitting at. We want it to sit at positive 1.0. We do not need flaps. But we're going to test the flaps. We have mechanical flaps. Looks like they work. Fantastic. The time is currently 3:34. Yikes. Snoot Airlines is very sorry to the passengers for the delays. We're just fortunate that we all made it in one piece, safe and sound. This is totally routine, so yeah, just buckle on up and prepare for the flight. Thanks for flying, Snoot Air. We need to turn our master avionics on. To do that, we'll just switch our view here. We actually are not going to use the Garmin, but we do need the rest of those avionics. Our VOR radio as well. So let's set up our flight plan. Of course, I need to switch my controls to HOTAS support. Having some issues here. There we go. Apply this to all aircraft. Apply this to all airplanes. Yes, yes. We're good to go. Alright. Boost up the ATC. What do they have to say? We need to get the ATIS first and foremost. Pop this.
Kilo India Oscar Whiskey Automated Weather Observation. 0900 Zulu. Wind 191 at 4. Visibility.
So, altimeter 2982. We have not set the altimeter in this bad boy. 2982. Fresh aircraft, fresh altimeter. The temperature is 2 degrees Celsius. That is above freezing. The dew point's -2. Not too far apart. We shouldn't have to worry about mist or frogs. Visibility is 10. It's a nice clear day. The wind is coming out of the 191 at 4 knots. That's not a very strong wind coming out of. The one bad thing about the Piper is this small compass here. Coming out of 191 into the north. We're going to want to take off runway 18, runway 20. Select a runway for takeoff. Runway 25 for sure. Let's take a look. Where is runway 25? That's right here. Let's announce our taxi. Alright, I hope everyone's boarded.
Kilo India Oscar Whiskey traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er is taxiing to runway 25. Kilo India Oscar Whiskey.
Finally getting to enjoy some of the nice hot cocoa. How wonderful. Exit cursor. Close our ATC. Are they gonna work with us for the groundsman, the groundskeeper? They're not. They're not. We're gonna have to do some savagery here. In real life, I would quite clearly tell this man of my intentions to take a wide looping right turn. But, unfortunately, this NPC may not realize that. My brother, please watch out, because we are now removing our brakes. Our goal is to go to runway 25, and to do that, we're just gonna go straight, hook to the left here at this taxiway, and we're gonna taxi all the way down. So, that's all we do. Straight into the left. Straight into the left. Remove the parking brake. The parking brake has been removed. We're now gonna very slowly lean on the throttle. We want to do this in the safest manner possible for this yellow vested gentleman right here. Pardon me, sir. Pardon me, please. There's also a man operating the pushback, but it appears that they're upset with me because they're not granting me clearance to use the pushback tug. Pardon me, sirs. Pardon me. Here we go. Very slowly getting pushed forward. Clear prop. Clear prop. Watch to the left to be sure we don't absolutely rack this fella. Oh, goodness. Very close, but looks like he made it out safely. Alright, we're good to start taxiing. Again, what is the time? 3:40 a.m. Hit the brakes because you don't want to taxi a turn above 5 knots. Piper's nice and responsive. As much as it sucks losing our personal craft and having to borrow a craft, it is very nice getting back in the Piper. A big fan of the Piper. And we're just going to taxi on down. Again, I think we have allowance. We're going to keep taxiing. We're going to depart to the south. Alright, let's go ahead and pick up a little bit of speed as we taxi. As long as we stay under 30 knots, we should be fine. We're going to go all the way down here, all the way down to the end of these dots. Crossing a runway here. Do a check. Looking good. Of course, this is a borrowed craft. We don't want to get too insane with it. Slow things down by cutting the throttle. Let's peek our nose up over and see what we're looking with as we approach this turn. Slower than 30 knots. Time to slow down because we can see the turn approaching. Let's step on the brakes a little bit. We want to get below 5 knots. Whip it on over. Here we go. We are currently at the runway. Same thing. Lean on over the nose. Ride the yellow line. Alright. Here we are. Adjust our heading. Now we're just going to take one quick little look here. Should be good to go. Let's look at our trim. 1 degree of trim. We do not need flaps. What we do need is throttle. Remove the parking brake. Lean on the throttle. Look forward. Ride them rudders. So, big mistake. We might be taking off with a tailwind instead of into. Not sure how big of a mistake this is going to be, but we're just going to see how fast we can get up and going. I'm sure if we just full throttle it, it'll be fine. Nice. All right, let's adjust our trim so we continue building height. Where are we now? We need to change our heading drastically. 1,500 feet. We can finally begin our turn. Flaps are up. We are building. Hey, look at that. There's the moon. How beautiful. The Romans called it Luna. Have a sip of the cocoa as we adjust our heading. Finally, after only about 15 minutes of delays, we are on the way home. Look at those beautiful blue and green and red lights down there. It's like Christmas. Well, we are gaining height. We want to not go above 3,000 feet. So we're going to drop 2 points of trim, see what happens. Drop 3 points of trim even. Sat nice and comfortable here in our Dakota Piper, our borrowed Dakota Piper. This is the roleplay story, and we are trying to run this one as long as we can. So, you can tell this is a borrowed craft because it is tagged India Alpha Papa instead of Charlie Alpha Tango. My craft is Cat. So we're above 3,000, which means we need to adjust our mixture. Drop some mixture. Drop some throttle. We actually need to pull back on our propeller as well. When I drive the Piper, I like the manifold pressure to be at 20. We're going to drop down below 3,000 so that we can just go ahead and give ourselves full mixture. So it looks like we're having issues with the airspeed here. We need to go ahead and give ourselves some pitot heat. Turn the anti-icing systems on. Embarrassing. The reason why we do not have airspeed is because we did not remove the pitot heat cover. We need to turn the pitot heating off or we might start a fire. We're also going to turn off the anti-icing. We do not want to start a fire. We're going to go ahead and play things by ear just to focus a little better. I'm going to remove this light. Things are going good, alright. We're just going to ignore the fact that we do not have control over our active knowledge of what our airspeed is, and we're just going to vibe it out. Lift the flaps, be sure the flaps aren't an issue. Manifold pressure, reel it back to 25. We're actually going to apply a little bit more propeller though. There you go, and you can hear our RPMs picking up. This should be the town of Riverside, Iowa. If we look to our left, we should see the casino. If we look to our right, that should be the town of Kelowna, which means we can go ahead and get on ATC. Drop the trim, we want to go below 3,000. Let's tune approach. Request a flight following.
Approach. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niners Type PA-28-236 PA-28. 6 miles northeast of 8 India Alpha 8, 3400. Request flight following.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima Niner Tree Niner approach. Squawk 1222.
1222 Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 939.
Squawk 1222. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
We're still above
Sierra
3,000.
Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. Radar contact 5 miles northeast
Two
of
niner,
India
eight
Alpha
tree.
3300. Altimeter 298 tree.
298 tree. Roger, Snoot.
Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er.
So, we can go ahead and see our destination there. It's that blinking beacon off in the distance. We're on a very slow decline. We're actually on an incline. We're going to drop 1 point of trim. As you can see, it is a beautiful night. No hands on the yoke. And I'm not drifting to the left or right. I am just about perfectly on track. We're losing altitude at a speed of about 7 feet per second. We're going to keep dropping to altitude of about 2,000 feet, give or take. Pop up ATC, see what they have to say. Hey, boo-boo. Nearest airport list. KAWG. Washington Municipal. Let's get the ATIS there. What is the weather like where we're going to land? Very important to know.
Whiskey Golf, automated weather observation.
2980.
Wind 221 at Niner. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2C. Dew point 1C. Altimeter 2980.
The wind comes out of 221. That means it goes into 3, 6, 7. Select a runway. Runway 1 tree may be the best option. And indeed it will be. This will be a full stop landing. We're going to announce position.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er, 10 miles north, 2600, inbound to land, runway 1 tree, Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf.
Alright, let's find our position. Runway 18 is highlighted, but we're actually coming into we coming into runway 1 tree. Runway 1 tree. Zoom it on in. Runway 1 tree is going to be right here. I actually was doing circuits off of runway 18 earlier, so I am a lot more familiar with that one. You know, let's do it. Let's request runway 18. Runway 18. Just to make things nice and simple. Runway 18. Let's go. Let's request runway 18.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er, 7 miles north, 2300, inbound to land, runway 18, Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf.
And we're just gonna set up straight on final. Very slowly dropping speed. Let's drop our manifold pressure. We're gonna reel back. We need to trim up because we are dropping a little fast. We're we're going to full, we need to give full propellers. We're going to cut back on the manifold pressure. We're going to announce that we are on final.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er is on final. Runway 18 to land. Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf.
We're having some very strange camera issues here. Alright, we actually cannot see our airspeed, so we're just going to have to make do with what we got. Pull back on the manifold pressure. Pull back on it desperately. Trim ourselves up. We're at 2,000 feet. We want to hit 1,500 feet by the time we hit that, it's a track. It's a series of lights. You can see it coming up in front of us. Everybody, make sure you are having your seatbelts buttoned and fastened. We are going to go ahead and activate the lights. Let's go. Lights looking good. Pull back on the throttle some more. Time to get the flaps going galore. 1 degree of flaps. Lean over our seat. What do we have to say? The lights say we're coming in too hot. Back it up. Trim our nose up. Let's keep that trim up. Reel back our throttle. Because we want another degree of flaps here. Give ourselves a little bit of throttle. We don't want to stall out here. Use that trim to nose up. Use the trim to nose up. Pull back on the manifold pressure. Maintain full propellers. So now it's final.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er is on final. Runway 18 to land. Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf.
Cut that throttle, cut the throttle. 3rd degree of flaps. Here we go. Let's maintain our attitude here. Keep a nose up attitude. Bleed off some speed here. Looking good. That was a decent enough landing. Not perfect by any shot. But we maintained the center line for the most part. We battled across wind. Let's go ahead and get back on the horn. Get clearance to taxi.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er is taxiing to parking. Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf.
There we go. It's a very windy day, so probably gonna want to give the opposite yoke that we give rudders. Yoke to the left, rudders to the right. We forgot again to turn our landing lights off. How embarrassing is that? But it's okay. We're not ready to announce clear of runway yet. Everyone, go ahead and unfasten your seatbelts, where we will be unboarding shortly. We're going to be crossing an active runway here. Slow down, take a look to the left, we're clear. Look to the right, we are clear. There's that beautiful moon, a nice yellow crescent moon tonight. Okay, slow things down because we're approaching our turn. Again, I know I won't shut up about it, but 5 knots per turn. That's all a man needs. over, see what that does for us. We're clear of runway. Let's announce it.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er. Taking off runway 18. Left closed traffic. Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf.
It's embarrassing. I meant to announce clear of runway.
Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf traffic. Snoot Sierra Alpha Lima 9er Tree 9er is clear of the runway. Kilo Alpha Whiskey Golf.
Hook the brake, because we're going to be taking a big left turn here. Oh, there's the bus to take everyone to town. We're going to ride on over. Cut our engines. Well, we actually came to a stop a lot sooner than I planned, but this will be perfect to fuel up. Let's go ahead and turn our lights off. All the lights off, that is. We can nav wing. And, well, whatever the other one is. The strobe lights, that's right. We're gonna cut our propeller. Don't want to leave that open. We're going to turn off our lights here. Alright, let's lean on over to the master nav switch. We don't need our nav instruments. Personally, I'm just glad to have made it home safe and sound. That was our second emergency landing, and the first one that we were able to get back to an airfield. Can you believe it? We were able to squawk 700, squawk 77, and yeah, we were able to land at Washington, Iowa Municipal. We borrowed their airplane. They let us leave, return home with a Piper. Let's go ahead and make sure everything is good for them. Parking brakes need to be set, of course. We're going ahead and flip the gas tank off. Return the yoke, return the yoke. There's the battery. There's the alternator. Last but not least, we'll take this key with us. Turn everything off. And, pardon me, ma'am. Excuse me, miss. That's the night's flight. We're going to begin the unboarding, unloading process. Oops, we need to unlock the door first. Lock. Open. There's a second lock. Right here. Lock. Open. We'll boot the door. There we go. Alright, anybody who has luggage, we're going to go ahead and onboard the luggage. Just grab your bags, grab your coats. Alright, yeah, come on, fellas. We're going to go ahead and board the bus, which will take us to Washington, Iowa. Howdy, partner. Look at this. There's actually a plane getting ready. He has his lights on and everything. How strange is that? Looks like everyone has their beacons and everything on. We probably should have left our one plane with its beacons and shit on, but oh well. Alright, yeah. Let's go ahead and head to the bus. Oh, my brother. We're not done boarding yet. Wait for me, my friend. Let us go ahead and get on. Alright. Hey, don't be so testy, partner. Well, this has been Snoot City. I hope everyone had a great flight. Snoot City Airlines is very sorry about that emergency landing. But hey, again, we all made it in one piece, right? join us again for the next couple of sessions. Snoot City. Looking forward to it. Yeah, here we are. We're all on the bus. We're about to head home. Washington, Iowa. Beautiful night out, isn't it? There's the moon. The lights. Lovely. Well, this has been Snoot City himself, Captain Snoot. Just want to say, everyone, have a fantastic night. Looking forward to the next one. See you, friends. See you later. Cheers.